What's going on, everyone? It has been a long time since I've done a video, and I know what you're thinking. Why are we talking about Rainbow Six Siege? Josh, this game's been out for a while. And the reason is, I don't think this game has gotten the attention it deserves, until very recently at least. Now, I got this game when it released, but I only played it to level 25 just due to the fact that I didn't really have anyone to play with at the time. It was brand new, and there were just a few issues, but as of 6 weeks ago, I haven't put this game down. Now, I'm not here to give some beginner's guide or anything like that. There's a lot of great videos out already that can help describe and help you learn about this game. What I am here to do, though, is kind of just spread that awareness about how truly great this game is. If I was to give my own opinion on how I would explain this game using other games, I would say it's kind of like a combination of Battlefield and Counter-Strike. It implements the gadgets and destructive elements of Battlefield and combining the strategic, fast, agile elements of Counter-Strike. Now, R6 has started since December of 2015, and since then has grown dramatically. There aren't many games out that start at 20,000 peak players and then go downwards after that to only shoot all the way back up to 130,000. And this is just PC. We're not accounting for console, which has a giant player pace. Player pace? Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Pace, yes. And with that, I think we should give Ubisoft credit where it's due. They've stuck with this game and created something truly magical from it. And it's not to say they haven't done that with others. The Division, which started out quite crappy to be blunt, has improved. And so has what I've heard of For Honor, but I've heard they still have quite a long way to go. Now, what makes this game so great is that it's fun for all players. You can play it casually, you can play it competitively, it doesn't matter. It runs smoothly, there's hardly any desync, and when there is, it's pretty fair, and it has great strategy elements between the gadgets and the different operators that you get to play. Now, speaking about operators are this game's classes, heroes, champions, whatever you want to prefix it to, and they operate in an attack and defense style. Now, each operator is its own. They have their own specialized ability, which makes them who they are, but at the same time meshes and sometimes counters other operators. What I truly love about the operators is that every op feels balanced. Every op seems to have a purpose, and even Tachanka, who is known as the weaker or generally laughed upon op, has its purpose on certain maps and objective styles. Now, the only problem with balance is that with perfect balance, you can cause the game to stagnate or become quite boring. If we look at other games like League of Legends, they constantly change the jungle, and this is because they want things to keep evolving so players can always be learning something new. Or card games, there'll continuously be new packs to be released so people can theorize and craft new things so that they can't always just stay with the same cards. Now, thankfully, Ubisoft already does a pretty good job at releasing new content with new operators that come out each year. They have a new draft coming in for Ranked, which I think is incredibly needed, but I would like to see more. I think that they need to do more patches more often, just to stir things up. Oh, they might accidentally overbuff someone or overnurse someone, but this will create more flow within the game, which, as I was saying, might spice things up. And it's okay if they end up making an error, they can quickly switch it, hotfix it, doesn't matter. But I think this will help evolve the game and keep it going. Now, another thing on the rise with this game is the esports scene. Now, esports is on the rise in all aspects, but their last tournament for R6, the 6th Invitational 2018 Championship, raked in 321,000 concurrent viewers. So I think we could be looking at a big rival to the FPS esports genre. And this is huge, not just for esports, but for the game itself, because I myself got into Counter-Strike just through competitive and watching how entertaining it was. And so if you can do the same thing, you can make it so players want to play your game more. Now, I talked a lot about the positives within this game, so it's time to talk about a little bit of the negatives, or more so changes I think they should implement within the game. Now, I've only played around 150 ranked games so far, so I'm in no way someone that's going to know everything about R6, but these changes that I think should be implemented are pretty universal. And to start, I don't think the ranked requirement is high enough. Level 25 is just not enough, and I think it should be increased quite drastically, actually. If you're coming in as a new player and you don't know map areas, callouts, spawns, stuff like that. It's not vital to know every one of these things, but it's certainly helpful. And when there's 2 leagues below where you start out, because you start out matchmaking in the silver area, I think it can be quite unfair to those players. And this goes into my next point, which is basically the unranked versus the ranked scenario. Now, in silver, I've had multiple times when I was grinding my way up where I would actually be the only individual who was ranked against a full team of ranked players, and my team would consist of all unranked players. Now, it can be really difficult to coordinate. It's not my team's fault in any way, but it becomes a fairly unwinnable scenario, as I am no smurf, where I'm the only person who kind of knows the areas, the callouts, or what to do, versus opponents who, well, do. So I think with the raised level requirement on ranked, and maybe an MMR shuffle of where you start, it would be a nice fix, and we could see a little bit more balance there. Now, one of my last 2 things is just the reduction of operators. And I'm not talking about anything drastic, but let's say the year 1 operators, after a full year goes by from the release, there should be a simple 10 or 15% discount on them, and then every year the same thing for year 2 and year 3, and maybe an increased 10% discount on the year before. And this would make getting operators a lot easier, as it is already incredibly hard to acquire them, or at least takes a lot of time. And with this, owning more operators allows you to have a greater understanding of the game. If you know what each operator's ins and outs are, you can play against it, and you just know their weaknesses and strengths, which makes you a better player, and it makes for Asian. What is that? What is that? Anyways, it makes it so even casual players can understand what everyone does, so they can have a better understanding and have a more enjoyable experience. And lastly, a very quick note is just to always constantly be working on the anti-cheat. I've already played with and been against multiple cheaters, so just to always keep up with this, but almost all game developers know this, and just to fine tune it and keep it going so you can keep the cheaters away is always good. Now, Operation Chimera, one second, let me Google.
Operation Chimera.
Oh, okay. But yeah, for Operation Chimera, it's coming out this Tuesday, and it's going to add a zombie-esque game mode and 2 new operators alongside some game balance changes. Some must needed for Ella. And yeah, I'll be playing Operation Chimera and test out the new game mode, and I'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's just going to be this video. And yeah, if you guys have any input on some of the things I said, please let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.